Hi, I'm Dave Layfield with Affordable Housing Online. Welcome to our weekly Section 8 update. We monitor the internet and social media continuously, looking for all the most recent Section 8 waiting list openings so you don't have to. You can follow us on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, you can sign up for our weekly email alert, and you can visit our website frequently to find the most recent waiting list openings. Be sure to watch the whole video. We'll do our user-submitted question of the week and our tip of the day. At the end of the video, this week's question is, how do I report fraud in the Section 8 program? And our tip is, make sure that your information remains updated with the Housing Authority. Today is Wednesday, November 12, 2014. Right now, we're tracking 89 housing authorities that have open Section 8 waiting lists, 3 that have waiting lists that are opening soon, and 22 that closed in the last 30 days. If you're a frequent visitor to Affordable Housing Online's Section 8 waiting list page, you probably realize that there's only about 3 housing authorities that have Section 8 waiting lists that are going to be opening soon, and that's because most housing authorities don't open their Section 8 waiting lists during the holiday season unless it's already open. For that reason, we're going to curb our Section 8 update videos down to once every 2 weeks instead of weekly, unless we have a big housing authority opening come up. Like I said, there's only about 3 housing authorities that are opening their Section 8 waiting lists soon. One of those is Deschutes County in Central Oregon. They just announced that they're opening their Section 8 waiting list on January 12th through the 16th. It's an online application, and you can get all the information on that opening on our Deschutes County, Oregon page. So on to our active Section 8 waiting list openings. Right now, Michigan State Housing has 15 different waiting lists open across the state. See, Michigan State Housing manages waiting lists for several counties in the state. And right now, starting November 1st, many of those opened up and are open through the end of the month. If you want details about each online application, you can visit the Michigan State Housing page on Affordable Housing Online. Another waiting list we're following is Stratford, Connecticut. It opens today. You must apply by mail, and your application must be postmarked between November 12th and November 14th. You can't send it in before or after those dates, so be very careful. You can find all the details and a printable application on our Stratford pages. So let's talk about a couple of housing authorities that opened and closed their waiting list recently. East Orange, New Jersey. They opened up their Section 8 waiting list on Monday. It was scheduled to be open for about 4 hours. They only were accepting 200 applications, and before that 4 hours was up, they had received all 200 applications and effectively shut down the system. Unfortunately, there were many users that were in the midst of their application when that happened, and they never received confirmation numbers. If you didn't receive a confirmation number, you probably didn't get in time. We'll make sure we post on our East Orange, New Jersey page and the Housing Authority page any new details that we learn. Recently in Ocala, Florida, they opened up their Section 8 waiting list. Now this was a little bit of an unconventional opening. They were accepting 300 applications online and 500 in person. They opened it for 2 days, and if by chance they didn't receive all 800 applications on day 1, they were going to open it up in person on day 2. However, the 300 online applications, it looks like they received about 300 applications in the first 5 minutes the application opened up. Because an official with the Housing Authority, I'm going to quote, said, "For those with questions about the online application not going through completely, there were hundreds of people who began the process online at 8 a.m. sharp, and the system would not accept any after 300. That means that if you were in the midst of creating your application and 300 other people submitted their applications before you did, your application did not go through. We will make sure to update our Ocala Florida and Ocala Housing Authority pages on our website in the future as we learn more about that opening. So on to our question of the week, and we get this one a lot. How do I report fraud in the Section 8 program? Look, the Section 8 Housing Assistance Program is a program for people in need, and fraud only harms its mission. It's your duty to report when you find out about fraud, whether it's a renter, a landlord, or a housing authority official committing some form of fraud. Again, it's your duty to report that. Fortunately, HUD has a hotline or a website that you can go to and anonymously report fraud. Right here is the phone number and the web address. Remember, it's your duty to preserve this program and make sure that no one's committing fraud. So on to my favorite part of the weekly update, my housing search tip of the week. This week I want to talk about the annual purge housing authorities do with their waiting list. What that means is they remove anyone from the waiting list that they can't get in touch with. Most of the time they send out a letter, sometimes certified, or an email. If you don't respond within a week or two, and each housing authority has a different rule, they'll remove you from the waiting list. And that means you're gone. You can't apply to the waiting list again until it opens up, maybe years later. One housing authority recently published a statistic saying that 9 out of 10 people on their waiting list they couldn't contact, and they had to remove them. That means that 9 out of 10 people that had waited for years, now they're gone. They're off the waiting list and they can't get back on until it opens up years later. So how do you fix this? You have to stay in touch with the housing authority. I would call them every 6 months, or if they have an online system where you can check your waiting list status, then you should check at least every 6 months. And if you move, if your email changes, if your phone number changes, you have got to stay in touch with the housing authority. You have got to let them know. They all have either an online form or a paper form that you have to complete whenever your contact information changes. And that way, in 5, 6 years, when they call you, you actually can apply and get a voucher. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching our weekly Section 8 update, and I hope we brought you a little bit closer to home.